happened last night? Thunder and the Grizzlies. SGA, no shocker here, a 120-103 win for the Thunder. He had 41 points, 14 to 25, 10 to 10 from the line. He had 8 assists. J-Dub, missed it, 20 points. 7 to 17,
Shocker.
9 assists. Well, I was close. So he.
Can I have my flowers first before we continue?
Oh, go ahead. Yes. What were your flowers again?
I just hit the parlay yesterday.
And I didn't.
And you just not.
Did Lou?
I forgot what. This isn't about Lou. It's between me and you.
I had Bain in points, and I had OKC money line. So maybe I did.
I had the OKC money line, so I got half. Half is good enough for something. SGA continues to lead the league at this point in scoring. He's almost got 33 a game. I'm wondering, though, Lou, as we get closer to playoff time, is this a formula that will work, or are they too dependent on him?
I'm torn. I'm torn because it's a lot. But when you're averaging 32 on the season, almost 33, it's natural for your team to expect that night in and night out. That's your daily average. And so when you're going out and getting these 40s and getting these 50s, it's natural for a team to depend on that. Come playoff time, when they have to play a half-court style of basketball, he can score in a half-court as well. He's one of those guys that knows how to get to his spots. He can play 15 feet away from the basket. He can play 20 feet away from the basket. So I don't see it as a concern. I do think they will have to make some adjustments in the playoffs when teams are keying in on you. You're not going to get as many opportunities in the transition that he's getting now. The foul calls are probably going to be a little different, even though he's a magician at drawing fouls. But I wouldn't say they're leaning on it too heavily, but they will have to make some adjustments come playoff time.
Yeah, and you can even see in the half court, especially when SGA gets going, they'll just throw a double team at him, kind of like how guys have been guarding Luka. As soon as he crosses half court, if he's hit a couple buckets in a row, they'll just throw a second defender at it and then kind of put themselves in a scramble and have to force these other guys to make plays. So yeah, come playoff time, I think Jalen Williams is going to have a huge onus on him to get downhill and to be that kind of option, to not allow them to do that. Chet's going to get back in the lineup. He's going to be another threat. But they have so many guys they can put on the floor, that can space the floor, that can make shots. It's just when they do put this offense in a bind like that and take the ball out of Shai's hands, these other guys have to be ready to make plays. They can't just kind of stand around and let SGA do his thing, because a lot of teams are going to throw all these different coverages at him. They're going to blitz him. They're going to get the ball out of his hands. So it's on those other guys to make plays and step up and make shots in the playoffs when it's slowed down in the half court.
Is part of that Jalen Williams? Like, how do we get him scoring better?
Well, he'll be fine, but one thing about this OKC team is these guys cut without the ball more than any other team that I've seen in the league. So even when they do send traps at SGA, these guys always read and react. They don't stand there and wait for the ball to come to them. They go and get the basketball, and they put themselves in a position. And that's coaching. You got to give Coach Mark the credit for that and how these guys prepare for games, and especially when teams load up on SGA. As far as Jalen Williams is concerned, how is he not a legitimate number 2 guy? He's averaging over 20 points a game. Like, it may not be the name that everybody wants it to be or household name. He's an all-star. He's averaging 20 points a game. What else would you want from your secondary scorer and defender going out there to compete as a legitimate secondary guy? I think he's the one.
Yeah, I think he's a great second option. I think he's more than capable of being a first option on some nights when SGA's down or SGA's having an off night. He is a guy you can put the ball in his hands. He's their closer half the night, even when SGA is in the game. He's so good at ISO, one-on-one, getting to his mid-range, getting to the foul line. So, yeah, I'd like to see him continue to be aggressive. And like I said, when they do go to that, those defensive schemes where they take the ball out of SGA's hands, he's going to be playing, 3 against 4 on the other end, where you have a lob threat with Hartenstein and Chet. You have shooters, all these guys with Aaron Wiggins, the Isaiah Joes, and Wallace. They have all these shooters surrounding. So they're in a good situation. Coach Dagnon's going to have them in the right spots, and they just have to make the right play and make shots when it slows down in the half court.
We got to look at the Grizzlies for a second here. 8 of 22. He did have 24 points. John Morant, though, is averaging the fewest points per game that he's had since his second season in this league. Jaren Jackson's got the day-to-day going on. They continue to tumble. I think this is their 4th straight loss. They've lost 7 of their last 9, Chandler. The Western Conference, towards the end here, it's going to get interesting in that little spot right there. What happens?
Yeah, I can see them sliding a little bit. With Triple J out, at least another week, I think that hurts a lot. They struck gold in the draft, really. They got Edey and they got Jalen Willis, who have been absolute pleasant surprises for this team, and they play hard, they defend, and they have the pieces. It's a little concerning with John Morant, just the longevity of the way the game is going, the way you have to be such an elite outside shooter. that's not his strong suit of his game, right? He's a freak athletic. He is so fast. He's still explosive. He's still going to find ways to dominate a game the way he plays. But the way the league's going with all this three-point shooting and efficiency, it's tough for him. He's shooting 28% from three, so they're gonna force him to make the shots. They're gonna go under screens, under dribble handoffs, and kind of make him beat you with the outside shot. And he hasn't proven he can do that consistently this year. So it is a little concerning, but at the end of the day, he is still so explosive, must-watch TV, and still a hell of a player. He's just got to find a way to be more efficient. Even 43 from the field is not great with a guy that has the ball in his hands most of the game.
It's crazy because it's Grizzlies, Rockets, Warriors. I just keep looking at the Warriors. Like, it's just, they're going to keep moving up.
But you know what this reminds me of, though, Chandler? This reminds me of a time in Andre Iguodala's career where he was athletic, he was explosive, getting to the rim, and then teams start backing up, and he had to prove that he was a jump shooter. And then that next summer he came in and he shot 50% from the field by the time that he got to Golden State. Like, Ja Morant may be in a position now in his career where you got to adjust your game. You know, as you get older and teams starting to understand the way that you like to play the game, they start guarding you different. The scouting report is different. Now you got to make them pay with your mid-range and your three-point shot. So that should be a point of emphasis with Ja going into this next summer to adjust his game, to evolve his game, to be a threat 15 feet away from the basket, stretching out to the three-point line where teams got to guard you honest. Now you become a scoring threat with your three ball and your mid-range. They got to guard you up again, and that opens the lanes back up. Right now, they're just forcing him to shoot jump shots, and it's not going his way.
Yeah, and is there a little concern if you're Memphis, Lou, that, you know, the older he gets, the step he loses, the athleticism kind of goes? And look at the point guards now that are aging. Damian Lillard can shoot the shit out of it. Can shoot the ball. Kyrie Irving, Steph Curry, these guys can all shoot the ball at such a high clip. Most point guards now are scoring, shooting point guards. So he's kind of in that area now where he's not that. He's explosive, he's fast, he can get out in transition, still dominate. But is that concerning with a guy like him that's so like very dependent on his athleticism that might not be there in 4 or 5 years?
Right.
Yeah, you got to adapt, evolve, add to your repertoire. Blazers, Celtics. No Tatum in this one. No worries. Pritchard and Derek White leading.